When you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and in life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. I'm super excited today to welcome a powerhouse real estate agent and flipper today. I'm blessed to call my friend Micah Mruwat. Has been in real estate for 13 years. Even before that, she has had her hand in the industry for her second generation as a real estate investor. She's a former managing broker in Oklahoma. Micah saw the opportunity with EXP and became one of the first original EXP agents in the state, as well as a regional director. She's a mom of 2 boys, and her husband are real estate coaches and a power couple who have grown their real estate group in all over U.S. and in 5 different countries. She's a top 1% influencer and had the honor of earning the well-deserved title of this year's Humanitarian Award of the Year for EXP. So it's an honor to have you on my show, Micah.
Thank you so much. The honor's all mine. I appreciate you having me.
So let's dig right in and let's just kind of share a little bit of your background and your real estate story and anything that you'd like to share to our listeners.
Sure, absolutely. And to be honest with you, my story is quite boring. I actually, so I came from, my background is actually broadcasting. And so I have a degree in broadcasting, mass communications, and a minor in theater. So definitely thought that was the direction I wanted to go. I was very interested in like human interest stories, traveling all over the world and really getting to know different cultures and different backgrounds. And so that was very, very much the direction that I was headed until I met my husband about 15 years ago. And we decided to start a family. And at that point, he was like, hey, getting up at 4 a.m. and, pulling these all-nighters and things and broadcasting probably just isn't the best for family life. And I agreed. I definitely sought out real estate as the fastest vehicle to kind of get me where I wanted to go. And I still get to know people and travel all over the world and do all the things that I wanted to do that originally was associated with my original goals. So I got into real estate. I got licensed and I was about 2 weeks away from having my oldest son. So when you imagine pregnant about this, I'm not very tall. So, my son was a big baby, so he only went outward. And the funny thing is when real estate agents are asked all the time, how did you get your first listing? I was fortunate enough that my first listing just kind of fell in my lap right away. And that was, my husband actually got me my first listing. And so, 2 weeks away from having our oldest son, just got licensed, don't know what the heck I'm doing. And I have a listing already.
Right.
Problem to have, right?
Right.
So I partnered with somebody at my original brokerage that I was with. And which I think is one of the best things that you can do as a new licensee, partner with somebody that has the expertise, whether you're getting ready to have a baby or not, right, and just learn from them. And so I paid for that mentorship. It was one of the smartest things that I ever did. And that's how I got into real estate. And I also, the other second part of the reason real estate came up, and I noticed the podcast name here is Financial Freedom. So 3 things that we wanted was, of course, financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. And real estate was the fastest vehicle to do that. But then also, I am a second generation real estate investor. So I've been around real estate my entire life, even though I was not licensed. And my husband and I, at the time, we were starting to invest. So we've now flipped hundreds of houses, anything from single family to apartments to commercial. I was just talking to you offline. We just leased one of our 3 restaurants that we own as the landlord. I'm not a restaurant operator. You don't want me in the kitchen. But it's fun because every day is different and we continuously get to be doing something different. So that's kind of my background in a nutshell. Like I said, it's incredibly boring. But I think it was where I was meant to go.
Well, that's awesome. So hundreds and hundreds of flips. That's pretty cool. And you said single families, multifamily, commercials. What was the most interesting property that you flipped that just comes to your mind immediately?
So interesting and fun are two different words, right?
Right.
So interesting, where our apartment complex, I mean, we've had situations where, we have cleaned up apartments and unfortunately found drugs and, had to get law enforcement involved, had situations where knives were pulled on us. So it's not for the faint at heart at all. But it was definitely a learning experience. And I take everything that we do as a learning experience. And if you can make a little bit of money on the way, that's great, but you're impacting lives as well. So it was a great experience. I wouldn't take it back. Don't know that I want to do it again. There's a reason why I'm getting into more absolute net commercial deals.
Yeah, absolutely. So 13 years in the business. When did you start your first, because you were managing broker of a company in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, so I was with my first brokerage for 5 years. And at that time, I was kind of at a crossroads that I got my broker's license because we were flipping so many properties. Just like a lot of real estate agents do, we look at it and we say, okay, why am I paying so much money? In 2014, I ran my numbers and I was paying my brokerage a lot of money, which, I was very grateful for them at the time. So I don't want to sound ungrateful. But it just made sense for me to get my broker's license and to do our own thing. So at the time we owned a shopping center, 20% was vacant. And so we used that 20%, we opened up an office and we were going to open up our own brokerage. And this is actually when I came across EXP. So I came across EXP. We were only about 300 agents at the time. I was agent number 333.
Oh, wow.
I looked at the model and I thought of it. If I was ever going to attract agents to a real estate company as a managing broker, as an owner, I needed to know that I was offering them the best product, because I cannot sell a product that I don't genuinely believe in and believe that it's in the best interest of the agents. So I decided that if I was going to open as my own broker owner, that would be, in my view, kind of a selfish move, that I wouldn't be able to compete with these other major brands. And so I decided to align myself with EXP. I became the original managing broker in Oklahoma City. I did that for about 3 years. And then I transitioned to a regional development leader position for a year. And then after that, what happened is we organically started to grow our own, what we call revenue share organization or group.
Right.
And that started to really take hold of my time. So about 2016, I gave up my production team. I got out of, over time, got out of some of these positions. And then 2018 rolled around and I started focusing on the revenue share organization.
Wow, that's an amazing story. So, I mean, being an investor and a flipper, you're all, of course, like a lot of us, is looking at the passive income, and you already have, a lot of passive income with what you've done so far. But you saw, growing your revenue share as a pretty big opportunity, which a lot of people have. But share a little bit more about that with us, and why did you see that as one of the bigger opportunities, and how have things been going for you?
Yeah, no, it's great. And as a matter of fact, my husband decided to get licensed as well. So he's licensed in Florida. I'm licensed in Oklahoma and Florida. But, the reason for it, when you look at real estate investing, it's always been the pathway to financial freedom, right? Generally speaking. But there's a lot of headache that comes with it. There's a lot of liability. There's a lot of overhead. There's a lot of headache. And what we found was it wasn't giving us the time and location freedom that we wanted. And revenue share can, although there's still, some challenges that come from time to time in terms of the challenges versus the reward. There is a good reward. So although we're still actively investors, we actually invest a lot of our revenue share back into real estate. But we find that they can go hand in hand. And as a matter of fact, we have attracted a lot of real estate agents / investors because they have that business mentality going in.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And you mentioned location freedom a couple of times, and it's pretty interesting. Of course, you have your business in Oklahoma, here in Florida, but today you're living in Puerto Rico, right?
I am, yeah. So we relocated we've lived in Oklahoma, we've lived in Florida. We have a house in Israel, which is where my husband's from, and we moved to Puerto Rico about almost 2.5 years ago. So, and looking on to maybe a potential another move, who knows? So definitely like to hop around.
Well, you say you like to travel, so that's okay. I love it. I love it as well.
There.
So EXP was your first brokerage as a licensed agent, not looking at investing, but as growing your real estate business, the first company that you've aligned with?
No, it's actually my second. So the first
Second,
company I was with was a local boutique for 5 years. So
Oh,
I
that's
always
right.
say, yeah, EXP is my second.
Okay.
8.5 years in, not planning on going anywhere. And so definitely not by any stretch of the term, a brokerage hopper, if you will. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you did say that. So you were thinking about opening up your own independent. I did the same when I looked at getting back into real estate. I was a coach for 9 years. I was looking to get back in real estate and start my own brokerage. But I, like yourself, looked at the pros and cons of the cost, the liability standpoint. And once I understood the EXP model, it just made a total lot of sense for me as well.
absolutely.
What would you like to share with any investor or independent agent like yourself thinking of starting your own brokerage? What were the key factors that had you made that decision, and what advice would you give someone having the same question that you did when you were looking at that?
Well, the key factors for me were what could I offer my agents, right? So whether you're selling EXP, whether you're selling XYZ company or your own brokerage, number one, you have to believe in the model. You have to believe in the leadership and where it's headed. And at the time, and still do, very much believe in our founder and CEO, Glenn Sanford. So that was a huge deciding factor for me. His integrity is just incredible. He's very much a visionary. And so I wanted to align myself with someone like that. Also, I needed to know that I was offering the systems and support, the best systems and support for the agents. And that's what I felt like EXP provided and still does. And then, of course, the other two parts of it is the stock ownership. If I was to open my own brokerage, it would be incredibly difficult to offer every agent ownership in the company, as well as revenue share opportunities in terms of it not being a franchise and being able to expand all over the United States in 5 countries or potentially 24 countries. So all those things in alignment is one of the reasons why I made the decision. And then also why we're attracting a lot of other brokerages. As a matter of fact, just this year alone, we've brought on 2 major brands in Oklahoma.
Oh, wow. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
So how have you been able to attract agents in the different countries that you're in? And what countries do you have partners in currently?
Yeah, it's all through relationships. So obviously Israel, which is where, we have some roots where my husband's from and we have a home and family there. And then through just social media, connections, other people that we know. We've got agents in, Australia, Spain, Colombia, and I know Mexico. I'm probably missing something. But just, like anything, it's all about relationships, asking people for connections. And of course, we like to travel, so that doesn't hurt as well.
Did you ever think when you got started at EXP that you would have such a large organization and be in so many different marketplaces and countries?
At the time, we believed that we were going to be national and international, because I think we might have had 13 states open at the time. I think I personally helped open 5 different states.
Oh, wow.
And so it was a matter of opening up states and finding the management staff and things like that. But there was never a doubt in my mind that was going to happen. It was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I'm not even going to, be shy about saying that, to build that foundational work. So, luckily some people came in kind of toward the end of that and really were able to take off because of the foundation that was built. But there was never a doubt in our minds that was going to happen. And it's because we were at the helm of the right leadership.
Being that you were at the company so early, what are some of the things that you would share with our listeners of what has gotten is totally different or better, or maybe not really go through the struggles, but what's different about it now than it was before?
Well, in full transparency, there were struggles, right? It was like a rocket ship that was flying to space and we were building it while it was flying. I mean, that's the best way that we've ever described it.
Yeah.
So when agents say, oh, I wish I got in a long time ago, although, we did very well in stock and things, obviously, but I don't believe that there is a better time to join because we have the systems in place. We have the processes in place. I mean, there's no secret that our systems and processes have continued to get better. The opportunities have continued to get better. And then, it's just like anything. We have the success stories now. We didn't have the success stories before. Before it was a vision and a hope and a wish and a dream. Now we have the success stories and the proven model that people can basically plug and play.
Yeah, absolutely. So when somebody says, geez, I kind of missed the boat. I wish I would have got in when you got in. And they think that, it's oversaturated or everyone knows about EXP. I'm not going to be able to grow it and get to the level that you're at. What would you say to them?
It was not for the faint at heart. It was not easy. And I think even Glenn is pretty transparent about that because we were building the rocket ship as it was flying, it's not easy. And even if you look at some other brands that are doing well, but they haven't hit those breakage points yet. When you're 10 years in the business, I think that's kind of a do or die moment for any major company. And also as you start to grow, sometimes you almost internally implode because you're growing at a faster rate than your systems and processes can be duplicated. So we have all that in place now. And that's very much, I think, a do or die moment for any company, whether it's a real estate brokerage or something likewise.
Right. Let's change gears just a little bit. For all your real estate agents that are out there, selling, and they're just focused on, I want to sell more homes. I want to get it from 20 to 50 or from 50 to 100 or start building a team that's going to go from 3 to 400. What are some of the tools, systems, and resources that you're able to give to your agents, and why would an agent from whatever company want to look at EXP to help them sell more homes?
Sure. I mean, I believe EXP sells itself, but we do have some added benefits in just kind of aligning them, agents with the Legacy Builders Group. And so we've got coaching, training, private masterminds, weekly calls. We have agent support staff that's there to answer agents' questions, as well as in Oklahoma, we just relaunched our production team where we're referring leads, handing out leads, running ads in Zillow and Google PPC and all kinds of different things that we plan on duplicating in other markets. So we realize that there are agents that just want to get their next deal, and our sole focus is how do we help them with that. As a matter of fact, I just jumped off a virtual CE class that I'm teaching, a 5-week series, 10 classes, all production based, and how we can help agents build their business, make it sustainable, and something that could truly be duplicated.
That's fantastic. So any of you guys, girls that are listening, if you're in Oklahoma, if you're in Florida, if you're in Puerto Rico, we're open, obviously, in all those states. Reach out to Micah here. Her phone number is right there on the screen. Any last things that you'd like to mention before we sign off? Because I know you have another call to jump on here soon.
Sure. No, not at all. I mean, like I said, calls like this are just a great sense of the collaboration that we have at EXP. I think EXP agents, for the most part, genuinely want to help each other and help build each other up, because the fact that we're all shareholders in the company. Right. And obviously, as we all do better, the company does better. And it's just, it really goes back to the Zig Ziglar phrase that if you help enough people, you're going to in turn get what you want. And that's very much what I think we're all doing. And I think that's why it's created such a powerful real estate company and environment and culture that we're all a part of.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I mean, this is really the first time that we've had a conversation. And I've seen you on our influencer calls, every Thursday, and it's been a pleasure because everyone's always, chipping in and sharing their ideas with the group. But this is the first time I reached out to you, and immediately you said, yeah, sure, we'd love to jump on your podcast. So it does definitely show the heart of the company, and anything I can do for you as well. Micah, please don't hesitate to ask. But my last question I always ask people before we leave: if you're a movie watcher, what's the best movie that you'd love to share? Or if you're a book reader, what's your most favorite book you'd like to recommend?
Oh gosh, I am not a big movie person, so that's probably not a good one for me to answer. I'm not a big TV watcher, but with my team, I'm actually reading The Conversion Code for a second time right now. There's a second edition by Chris Smith. So in terms of lead generation, and then I'm just a big Tony Robbins fan. So anything Tony Robbins, myself and my son are John Maxwell certified. We've gone to Grant Cardone conventions, but I really, really enjoy Tony Robbins. So from his books to his podcast to anything else.
I agree with you there. I was with Tony on 9/11 in Hawaii on one of his events. That's a story for another day. But yeah, he's pretty phenomenal. And when we brought him to, when Brent brought him to one of our build events a few years ago, that was pretty awesome as well. But now I hear your son now. Wasn't he? Is he the youngest certified Maxwell?
He is, yeah. So my oldest son is now 13, but when he was 9 years old, he wanted to get John Maxwell certified. He's been to Tony Robbins, he's walked on the fire, he's done all that stuff. He's the youngest certified coach at the time. Maybe they've had some since. When he was 9 years old, he was actually so young that they couldn't certify him as a kid, so we ended up putting him through the adult program.
How cool is that?
If there's a will, there's a way, right?
That's right. That's right. Congratulations. This goes to show how eager you are to self-improvement and what's was it continuous and never-ending improvement is what Tony talks about and teaches, right?
Yeah, I do believe that the number one, everybody's always looking for the secret sauce to success. And I always tell people what it is, and it's your mindset. Mm-hmm. And of course, that nobody ever likes that answer because it revolves us to look in the mirror and be true and honest with ourselves. But much of what my husband and I have really focused on the last few years, which has created incredible growth, not just professionally, but on a personal level, is focusing on our personal development. We spend 6 figures a year just working on our personal development. Mm-hmm. And that has now taken a reflection to our kids as well. And they see the importance in growing up and being around that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. Well, I appreciate you jumping on the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. Thanks so much. And we'll see you on the next live influencer call.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Have a good day.
You as well.
Bye.
Listen to what our business partners are saying about our FFF group.
I love FFF, Financial Freedom Forever, is helping you to grow, all support and coaching and training me and my family. Now we have more time to spend together and make more money.
Competition is good, but collaboration is better. The one thing that I really love about this group and this community is that an abundance mindset, always looking to add value. It's really clear that this organization is pouring in as we have the best agents, not only in the US, but all over the globe.
I believe if you surround yourself with like-minded people that are doing 10 to 15, 20 times more than me and you put together, we all bring each other up and bring our businesses to the next level and our lives. To learn more about how to partner with us, go to partnerwithandre.com or click the link below and let's have a conversation.